So she observed a lot of people voting twice. In Philadelphia, unless you're stunad, that's an Italian expression for stupid. I don't know if she's a Democrat or Republican. I assume if she's working for the city of Detroit, that she's a Democrat, because I know you keep reporting falsely that we have no evidence, that we have no specific acts of fraud. That's because the coverage of this has been almost as dishonest as the scheme itself.
What we are really dealing with here and uncovering more by the day is the massive influence of communist money through Venezuela, Cuba, and likely China.
Georgia's Republican Secretary of State said Thursday Joe Biden clearly beat Donald Trump to win Georgia's 16 Electoral College votes. Brad Raffensperger said a statewide hand recount of 5 million ballots failed to turn up any evidence supporting President Trump's conspiracy theories about a stolen election. South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham faces a Senate ethics investigation into his phone call with Raffensperger last Friday when Graham allegedly asked the Secretary of State to toss out thousands of mail-in ballots. Senator Graham has denied making the request, which legal experts say would amount to felony election fraud in Georgia.
The General Services Administration has a person who recognizes who the winner is. It doesn't require there to be an absolute winner. It says the apparent winner. The apparent winner. And there's a whole lot of things that we just don't have available to us, which unless it's made available soon, we're going to be behind by weeks or months being able to put together the whole initiative.
Governor, if you had a message for President Trump right now concerning the election results here in Michigan, what would that be?
I think it would be stop spending energy to mislead about what happened in this election and spend it on a real COVID relief package.
As we sit here today, we have the greatest mass of infected Americans that we've ever had since the start of the pandemic, and Americans are pouring into hospitals untreated. The hospital census is already at capacity. A national calamity of unimaginable mortality is right around the corner. In a matter of weeks to months, Americans are going to be horrified with what they see on the news.
Well, let's be horrified together. I'm Barry Gordon.
Garrett Essel, and I'm Andre Coleman.
And this is NewsRap, live at 5.
Hit it.
Okay, Dre, how you doing?
Hold on. You said you were going to buy.
I'm starting to see the sun come out, so half hour I give you in, then right to the pool. That's it.
Well, you said you were getting me a Hawaiian shirt.
Oh,
Let's
I
see
did.
it. Where is it?
I did. Wait a minute. Here we go.
Oh, wow. Hey, next time get the one that has a lot of patches and stuff in it.
This is more subtle. I mean, you want the ones with the huge flowers,
That's the subtle one.
This is the subtle one. Yes.
Wow, I can't wait to wear that someplace.
It's subtle.
Where I won't know where I'm going in it.
It's muted. Let me put it that way. It's muted.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they'll hear me screaming when I have to.
They're very muted colors.
They'll hear me screaming when I have to wear it. So, but thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
This craziness, man. Craziness is going on around the country. What's up?
Well, I almost don't have words because I've just so lost patience with all of it. And I at this point, I just want to find a really big leaky boat and put a lot of people in it. I really do. I'm done. I'm done with Trump and the family and the Republican senators. And I mean, even when they acknowledge that Biden should get the transition information. It's always because he may end up being president. Who knows? But he might. So
Right.
he ought to get the information. Whatever happens, it's always like whatever happens, he ought to get the. What is that?
We have exposed that our system does not work, and there are flaws in our system.
Oh, deep, yeah.
And they've always been there. We need a constitutional convention at some point after we get Idiot Boy out there and we have the Senate, hopefully. And then we can get around to fixing this thing so that there are protections which guarantees a transition after an election is counted. This is nuts. I mean, you have one dinner guest who doesn't want to go home, and he's holding up the whole thing. That's what this is. He's moving in. I saw a movie like that on TCM the other night with got the guy's name, old guy, but Jimmy Durante's in it.
Jimmy Durante.
And this guy fakes a broken leg and just stays at these people's house.
Oh, that's the man who came to dinner.
That's what it is. That's what this is.
Yeah, that's the man who came to dinner. Good movie. Yeah.
Great movie. Hilarious.
1930s movie. Yeah.
What we're going through here is not funny, but.
No, it's not. I mean, he is just, he's squatting now.
Yeah, he's a squatter.
He's
at
a
our
squatter.
house, your house and mine.
I know. And he's getting all of this help, which is unbelievable. I mean, having these election board officials, although they told him that they weren't going to do anything. They did tell him that,
Right.
They came, they listened, and then they said, well, but, there's nothing to do. Now he's looking at Pennsylvania. So he's done with Michigan. So now he's trying for Pennsylvania now. So. And Rudy with his, hair dye.
Keep trying it.
That was fascinating. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
That was scary. He was melting. It was like Margaret Hamilton.
I know. The Wizard of Oz. I know. My cousin Vinny references. Jeez.
That's what the president's bad mob lawyer is doing. But you know what? People have to understand, and this is where the education of this comes in, Barry. In none of these cases are they alleging fraud.
No.
They're not even alleging fraud.
No.
His followers
they're basically saying that if the votes came from black neighborhoods, we should throw them out. In essence,
get rid of them.
That's what they're saying.
Black people,
just get rid of them. Lindsey Graham, calls the Secretary of State of Georgia and basically says, according to the Secretary of State of Georgia, look to find as many ballots as you can that you can throw out and throw them out. It's strange because I read something that said that by December 8th, this all has to be figured out. And there can be no court cases that go beyond December 8th, according to the Constitution. And I read that, and now no one's talking about that. They're talking about the 14th. So they're talking about the day that the Electoral College meets. But supposedly, it's all supposed to be settled by the 8th, which is 6 days before the Electoral College meets. And by the way, the Electoral College is, just so everyone understands, they don't all meet together. It's not a big caucus. That was the whole point. They were trying to avoid corruption by having them meet in their separate states. So that's what they'll be doing on December 14th, is meeting as groups in their separate states and casting their ballots the way they're supposed to by law.
Even though it is an antiquated system still.
It's a horrible system. And the thing is that I'm reading a book right now about that period when the founders recognized just how horrible it was. I mean, it was even worse because in the beginning, you could have a president and a vice president because they were the two biggest vote getters. They could be from different parties. They could be from different philosophies. It didn't matter. And it was not a cool thing. So they ultimately passed the 12th Amendment for purely political reasons because they recognized this new thing called political parties and that things were changing and that people didn't just kind of run at large. They ran as a Federalist or they ran as a Democratic Republican. And so that's what they did. But the unbelievable mess that we're going through right now, and of course, Obama hit it on the head yesterday in his interview. We expect this of Donald Trump. We know that Donald Trump is going to do something insane because he's done something insane for the last 4.5 years, since he started running, or 5 years since he started running. But what we didn't know is how the Republicans were going to react. And I mean, if you listen to some, even when they're agreeing that Trump should get the transition information, it's always conditional. It's always saying, yes, he should get the information, in case he wins or in case he needs it or,
in case he
What
runs,
is the mystery here? There's no mystery.
Yeah.
The closest one was Georgia, and he won Georgia. So,
twice.
Well, actually, the closest is Arizona,
now.
but he'll win Arizona too.
Well,
so it's
what blows me away about
very
this is
frightening.
Something like 80% of Republicans believe that Biden won because of fraud. Just that number alone.
Yep.
Think about that. Now you know how all these things where we go, I can't believe that ever happened. I can't believe Jim Crow ever happened. I can't believe slavery ever happened. Now you know why. Because there are a lot of stupid people who will believe anything they are told, who vote. I don't even know why these people have a vote. To tell you that's how ignorant they are.
That's right. It's massive denial. It's just such a massive denial, and it's horrifying. I mean, we're watching, I think, the worst attack on democracy since our country was founded.
Well, we're seeing something else too. We're seeing a guy try and set himself up as a king.
Yep.
And we're seeing a large part of the population polishing the throne and trying to place him there.
Yep.
That's what we're seeing. Is Donald Trump wants to be king. And they had already placed him as a king, apparently.
Yeah.
And just the rest of us didn't go along with it. And that just ain't good.
And then, of course, this is all in the midst of the pandemic. I was watching this unbelievable scene. I think it was on CNN. And I was watching this unbelievable scene where one of the doctors that are frequent commentators, I think his name is Dr. Jha, was just completely persecuted by the Republicans. They went back and started to talk about hydroxychloroquine again, and how Jha didn't want to recognize how great it was because it's cheap, and so they can't make money off of it. I mean, the insanity of the Republican Party, and I don't know if the Republican Party can recover. I really don't know if they can.
Right now, I don't think they can. I really don't.
So what's your thought about Georgia? Because I'm beginning to think we're going to take those 2 seats.
I think that if the Democrats run the right campaign and can continuously, effectively point out to the people that the Republicans attempted to disenfranchise their vote, get money in there, push, they will win those seats. And if they win those seats,
it's all going to be about turnout. And I thought that Stacey Abrams said the smartest thing when I saw her interviewed, because she said, we're going to go to the people who voted for Joe Biden. They're not looking for persuadables. They're not looking for undecideds. None of that. We're going to go to the people who voted for Joe Biden, and we're going to say, your job is not finished.
There you go.
You have one more thing you have to do. Just one more thing, and then you can relax for a while. But you've got to do this one thing. Get your ballot in the mail. Send it, get it,
Yep.
send it,
Push it, get it done.
it. And I think that's the answer, because even the Republicans are starting to recognize the fact that Georgia is getting very close to being a majority minority country.
Yep.
State rather. Yeah.
Yep. And then what? I mean, look at the map then. I mean, you can't just look at Georgia and talk about this election. You have to go back 2 years ago when Abrams almost won.
That's
and you
right.
got to see which way it's trending. And if you look at which way it's trending, the Democrats have a great shot at picking up both of these seats.
They do.
The other thing, if I were the Republicans, the only thing I'd really kind of worry about too is, I'm not saying he's going to flip, but I think Mitt Romney's getting to a really fed up point about what he's seeing in his own party. And I don't think he's going to flip parties.
No.
But that's when people begin to look at issues and votes and go, I don't like where the party is and I need to send a message, things like that. So if I were them, I'd be concerned about just this, like you just said, the state of the party in general. They're looking at a number, they're looking at the number of people who voted for Trump and they're going, wow, no sitting president ever got that many votes before. But he lost. They're looking at the wrong number.
No
candidate
to a sitting president has ever gotten as many votes as Joe Biden.
That's what they need to look at. They need to look at the other number and go, this guy inspired that many people to vote against him. That's what I'd be concerned about. Our party inspired that many people to vote against what we stand for. That's what I'd be worried about.
I think that's right. Okay. Folks, if you want to get in on this conversation, you've got some minutes to do that. You've got a little time. And I think we're going to take a look at the local brief and maybe get a COVID update and some other stuff. So let's go take a look.
This is your local news brief for Friday, November 20th, 2020. The city of Pasadena has reported 3,200 confirmed COVID-19 cases that have led to 130 COVID-related deaths as of November 18th. That's an increase of 173 cases since last week, and the first new death in 5 weeks. LA County is reporting its highest daily infection numbers since July. There has also been an increase in the county's positivity rate and more hospitalizations concerning health officials. Stay-at-home orders could be put back into effect in December if trends in infection and positivity rates do not improve. As spikes in COVID-19 cases force all counties in Southern California into the restrictive purple tier, LA County public health officials have reinstated some restrictions. Effective Friday, November 20th, all restaurants and non-essential retail must be closed from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. A curfew for non-essential travel between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. will go into effect Saturday, November 21st, and is expected to stay in place until December 21st. Outdoor restaurants, breweries, and wineries can now operate at no more than 25% capacity. Limited indoor business, including retail and personal care services, are also only allowed to operate at a maximum capacity of 25%. All personal care services are also required to be done by appointment only. Outdoor gatherings will be capped at 15 people, and no more than 3 households can be at any gathering at a time. The Pasadena City Council has established guidelines for appointing members for the Police Oversight Commission. Individual council members and the mayor will appoint one person each. The council members and the mayor can choose whether to publicly or privately screen candidates. The remaining 3 commission seats will be filled by local nonprofits through their own process. The Public Safety Committee will select 3 community-based nonprofits from a pool of applicants. The selected nonprofits will recommend 6 candidates, 3 of whom will be appointed by the Public Safety Committee. All candidates must be approved by the City Council as a whole. The next step in creating the Police Oversight Commission will be to create the training regimen for future appointees.
So what I didn't see was, have we had any more deaths, or are we pretty well frozen on the deaths part?
We've had 2.
We did have 2.
Two. But our
'Cause
numbers are
we've been pretty good in that department for the last like 3 weeks or so.
well over a month. We held at 0, no fatalities. Now we've
Yeah.
had 2, but our numbers are spiking again. I mean, a 60-day, one day we had 60, a couple of 40s, and then you just saw the update there. Look, another stay-at-home or safer-at-home order, or back to the first one, I should say, is coming, and very, very quickly. That's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
We're going back. Everybody's going back on lockdown. And it comes down to this: people won't wear the damn masks. Everybody wears the mask. We'll get out of this quickly.
Exactly.
People don't want to wear. I mean, the mask is your vaccine right now.
Right.
People don't wear the mask. This is what's going to happen. Somebody told me that they're seeing on the freeways rush hour traffic again. And it's like, where the hell is everybody going?
Yeah.
So here we go again. Don't travel for Thanksgiving. That's the advice, all that. So here we are.
Well, and now we've got a governor who's not setting a very good example.
Well, Gavin Newsom, the king of probably, definitely, yes, so, and maybe, all in one sentence. I haven't understand one damn thing he's meant since this whole thing started, to tell you the truth.
I know.
I mean, this guy never met a message he couldn't mangle. So,
and yet it seems also, though, like of course, de Blasio's getting in all kinds of trouble. I don't want to go back to national news, but we can relate it to what's happening with us, because it seems like the schools should be the last thing we close. The evidence is starting to say that the schools are doing pretty well, and that people are not getting sick from kids coming home from school. So de Blasio, had that 3% positivity rate as a trigger. And now the public health experts are saying that was probably not the best trigger, that it could be higher, because people really aren't getting sick from the schools being open. They're getting sick from restaurants and bars. And those are the things that no one wants to close, because you need them to fuel the economy. So that's the problem. And this kind of ridiculous choice that we have to make between the economy and COVID would not have happened if we had had a more severe shutdown in the beginning.
Yeah, with the deadline on
shutdown in the beginning. We came out of it way too fast.
But if we
of course, then if we'd had a national strategy of masks and social distancing, because a lot of restaurants are doing it very well. El Portal, I go there, eat outside. There's plexiglass between every booth, and I feel absolutely safe going there.
But
absolutely safe. And there are other restaurants that are doing it very well.
Here's the issue with schools. It's the teachers. See, you can say, okay, well, kids aren't catching it, but the teachers aren't ready to go back to school because the schools are not being disinfected properly. You don't have the plexiglass. So the teachers are going, I'm not going to put myself at risk. And they shouldn't, and they should not, nor should they. And it takes one kid to show up at school with COVID, and you have a super spreader incident. Now, maybe around the country we're not having that, but I don't want to risk my kid to be the one with it. And you know what? The comments are flashing on my screen really quickly, and I cannot keep up with how fast
it's going. So you can't get the side window either?
I can't get the window either. So Jared, if you can read them, if you're seeing them, that would be great, or send them to us. Well, California did do very well,
We have to
James.
say that James Farr said something about, just said a comment because they couldn't hear Jared.
Right.
So
James, take it, Barry.
So he's saying that basically it's bars, family gatherings that are the real culprits right now.
In California.
Yeah.
But in other parts of the nation, people aren't wearing masks at all. And you have large majorities that aren't wearing masks. That's why now you see Iowa, North Dakota having statewide mask mandates because, hey, guess what? Suddenly it's not a game anymore and it's real because their cases are skyrocketing.
Well, I've just had 2 COVID tests. I hadn't had a test until now, but I had to have one to get into the state of Hawaii, and had one. And then 72 hours after we arrived, there's a voluntary secondary test, and we took that today. Okay. And one was a test where you get the results between like 24 and 48 hours. The other one, you get the results in 15 minutes. It's just a straight antigen test. That one is a little less sure. The one that takes 24 to 48 hours is like a 99% not effectiveness, but correctness or accuracy rate. And I guess is what I want to say.
I had to register the car today, and just to get into the DMV, you have to social distance, wash your hands, sanitize your hands, and then they take your temperature at the door. And you still have to have the mask on inside. So there are places doing it right, like we said. But if at the beginning we had a longer shutdown with an expiration date, we could have gotten past this. Now we're going back to the shutdown point. I don't know what's up with this business curfew from 11 p.m., 10 p.m. is it, to 5 a.m.?
10 p.m. to 5, I think, yeah.
So we don't want you to catch COVID when you're asleep at 2 a.m. I don't even know what the hell that's about. I mean,
I know Pasadena, people don't stay up all that late. So with us, it's
I'm up at the house sometimes, but I'm not running the streets.
I know. Well, gosh, this went by fast.
Crazy, man.
It's crazy. So just a quick announcement before we go off the air. This is going to be our last show for a while. We're going off until after the first of the year. We'll probably be back. I don't know if it's the first week in January, maybe the second week in January, probably before Inauguration Day. And who knows who's going to be inaugurated? No, we know it's going to be Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
So we'll want to be talking about that. But in the meantime, have a wonderful socially distanced Thanksgiving and a wonderful socially distanced Christmas and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and a wonderfully socially distanced New Year.
Listen to you, man.
And we'll see
like
you.
Burl Ives.
We'll see you all in some weeks. All right, folks. I'm Barry Gordon.
I'm Andre Coleman. Take care, everybody.
Yeah. Be well. This is NewsRap live at 5.